we are going to go over the top 10 terms you should probably know before starting a ketogenic lifestyle. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I'm super pumped up to be here today with you watching this video just because I love educating people. I help people make better decisions in their day-to-day lives to just feel better, do better, think better, and just overall be better. So with that being said, I think that it's really, really important that when we dive into something that we educate ourselves just a little bit before doing that. That way, when we get into it, we're not lost, which makes us feel really distracted or not knowing what we're doing, which makes us feel defeated and all of those things. So let's get into the top 10 terms that I get asked about daily when people reach out to me and want my help, want my coaching, want my mentorship in starting this amazing, amazing journey. So my number one question that I get is what is ketosis? So the term ketosis is actually just a state that our body is in when there are ketones running through our body. So a state of ketosis is a metabolic state where there's a high level of ketones inside of our bodies, which it loves, by the way, just saying. So being in ketosis is super, super, super awesome. For some people, if they're doing a ketogenic lifestyle and they first start out, that can take a week. That can take a couple months for some people to get into it. It just depends. It's doable. However, it can take some time to actually get into that state. What are ketones? What is a ketone? Well, ketone is actually just the breakdown of fat cells into energy. So when you starve yourself of a fuel source, which we typically use on a daily basis, known as carbs, known as glucose, because carbs break down into glucose. When we starve ourselves of that fuel source, our body will actually take our fat cells and convert them into energy, which is known as a ketone. There's 3 types of energy that comes from your fat cells, and beta hydroxybutyrate is one of those. And that, my friend, is a energy source that your brain absolutely loves. Hands down, no questions asked. Your brain loves it, your body loves it. It can function and it can utilize BHB ketone as a really efficient fuel source. So my next 2 terms kind of go together. So number 3 and number 4 are regular keto lifestyle and dirty keto. We've all heard of if you're into the keto scene right now, you've heard of lazy keto, you've heard of dirty keto. So let's go over what that looks like. So a ketogenic diet, if you did a pie chart, a ketogenic diet would be 75% of your calorie intake is coming strictly from fat. Not bad fat, good fat. So avocados, olive oil, nuts. That is a really good regular ketogenic diet, high fat intake. So olive oils, avocados, olives, coconut oil, those are really good fat. 75% of your calorie intake should be coming from that. Let's see, 20% of your calorie intake should be coming from protein. So fish, chicken, grass-fed beef, things of that sort. Protein, eggs is a really good protein source. 20% of your food intake should be coming from protein. 5% of your food intake should be coming from carbs. But I'm not talking about eating, I don't know, that French toast that you wanted for breakfast. Like, that's a very high carb intake, and even if it did fit in your macros, you have to be really, really cautious of what that looks like. That is really high in sugar, so you don't want to be taking that in. when you're doing a regular ketogenic diet, you still want to get that nutrition in. So the 5% carbs that you're taking in should actually be coming from carbs that are in vegetables. So broccoli, cauliflower, celery root, cucumbers, things of that sort. So your carbs should actually be coming from the clean, real food that you're ingesting. All right, so that would be a regular ketogenic lifestyle pie chart, okay? A dirty or lazy keto lifestyle would look more like this, which, let's just face it, we see it all the time. We see it on Instagram. We see people Facebooking about it, and that would be 75, the pie chart numbers are still the same, but 75% dirty keto fat would be like bacon and cheese and heavy whipping cream and all of that. Like, they forget the good stuff. They forget the avocados. They forget the olive oils and the coconut oils. So dirty keto would be getting your fat from just like bacon and cheese and all of that. And don't get me wrong, you can eat that on a ketogenic diet and it is delicious, but that's not all you want to be taking in to get your fats in. So 20% protein, still dirty keto, would look more again like bacon and, I don't know, just like pork and steak and all of the things, maybe non-grass-fed beef and things like that. So protein, it's pretty the same, dirty keto or not dirty keto, regular keto. And then 5% carbs on dirty keto would look more like, I don't know, cauliflower pizza with low carb marinara sauce on it. Like, that's fine and dandy, and yes, it is still low carb, but it's not the most nutritional low carb that you could be getting. I hope that makes sense. So with that being said, that was number 3, and number 4, regular ketogenic diet, and then dirty lazy keto. Our next term, number 5 on my list, is MCT, which stands for multi-chain triglyceride, which is just a breakdown of coconut oil. It's super, super, super amazing for your brain. It turns into ketones actually when you consume it. You can get that from coconut oil, and you can get it from palm kernel oil. So that is a really good term to have, MCT oil. You should definitely get some, and you should drink it. It is delicious. Number 6 on my terms you should know when starting a ketogenic diet would be macros. Some people, it depends on your opinion, think macros are super important. Some people want to track them when they first start so they know. When you get into it though, you tend to just figure out what you consume that makes you feel good. So if you know that heavy whipping cream is part of a ketogenic diet, some people can eat that and be just fine, and they can use heavy whipping cream and things and in their coffee and all of that. But for some people, like me, heavy whipping cream does not fit in my macros ever, because it gives me irritation to the gut. It makes me feel bloated. It sends me to the restroom, just FYI. Or TMI. I don't know if that's FYI or TMI. But for some people, that's a thing. So just because it is considered keto doesn't necessarily mean that it's your keto. Let's just be honest. There's many ways that you can do a ketogenic diet and still be in a state of ketosis. So macros actually is a macronutrient. There's four main macros. There's, typically people just know them as 3, but there's fat, there's protein, and there's carbs. So that is the pie chart that I was talking about. So if you're counting macros, 75% fat, 20% protein, and then 5% carbs. So macros is definitely a term you should look up, you should know about, and do all of the things. Number 7 is incorporating fasting or intermittent fasting. So fasting overall, I personally do a 60-hour reboot every month, which is a 60-hour window where I do not consume food whatsoever. So my body will go into a natural state of ketosis, so a heightened level of ketones. And I feel that. It makes me feel awesome. A lot of people utilize that to a jump start, maybe to the fat loss if that's what they're looking for. Just a jump start to start producing ketones naturally on their own. So fasting has a lot of benefits to it. It gets rid of free radicals, and free radicals in you can breathe them in the food that we eat. Free radicals are things that can just break down cells and make us sick. So getting rid of free radicals in the body is an absolute benefit, and you can get rid of free radicals by incorporating fasting, intermittent fasting. So some people just do like a 16-8 window. Where they go 16 hours without eating, and then there's like an 8-hour window where they do potentially consume food. So that's that. Like, fasting is super beneficial, and I think if you're doing a ketogenic diet, it's something that you want to utilize in your everyday life. I get asked this all the time because of what I do, but are exogenous ketones important? And I guess in itself, exogenous, what does that mean? Exogenous means it's coming from the outside. So yes, there are drinkable ketones, and yes, I do drink ketones. Everybody is going to have an opinion about drinking ketones. Are they necessary? Are they unnecessary? That is not for me to tell you. Yes, I drink ketones, and yes, they made me feel awesome, and yes, the reason why I'm sitting here educating you currently right now and have such passion behind this conversation is because I shook up a ketone and I drank it. It made me feel really good. It's not for me to tell you if a ketone is for you or not, if a ketone supplement is for you or not. That's up for you to decide. When I drank it, it literally lit my brain up. It was a mental clarity I have never experienced in my life before, and I did end up losing fat. It gave me it helped with my appetite suppressant, so I wasn't eating as much. I can drink one of these and be good for hours and hours. I don't get that hunger anymore. So again, not for me to decide, not for me to pass judgment, not for me to ridicule those who are making a ketone supplement. That's not for me to decide. I think it really comes down to you, and if you like it and want to incorporate, just like you would incorporate MCT oil. It doesn't matter where you buy it from. If you buy this brand or that brand or that brand, you're buying a supplement of MCT. So if you want to buy a supplement of ketones because when you consume them, they make you feel better, then do it. No harm, no shame in your game. Don't let anybody pass judgment on you. With that being said, I'm moving on. All right. So number 9 is the Keto Flu. What the heck is the Keto Flu? And a lot of people ask me about this. Maybe when they first start a ketogenic diet or lifestyle change, they experience a headache, they experience fatigue, they experience leg cramps. That is because your body is so used to using glucose as a fuel source that when you deprive yourself of it, by the way, sugar is the most addictive chemical to the brain, to the body. So when you deprive yourself of that, you're going to experience symptoms. And yes, they're very much like the actual flu. So if you're doing a ketogenic lifestyle switch and you experience those things, there are a couple things to get through, exogenous ketones being one of them. I never went through the Keto Flu because I was consuming ketones and literally was just making that shift more naturally to where I didn't really crave the carbs and the sugars over an extended period of time that I once consumed on a daily basis, every day, every hour, every minute of my life. So if there's things you can up your electrolytes, you can, there's a lot of things. So if you're interested in figuring out what you can do, if you're going through the keto flu right now and you're like, what the heck, I tell you, hang on, because it is going to end. And once you make that switch from glucose fueled to ketone fueled, you will thank yourself. You will, hands down, it will be worth every minute of it once you get into a state of ketosis. So my last term today is electrolytes. What are electrolytes? What do they do? Do they actually help? And the answer to that is absolutely they do. So when you're either consuming ketones or you're doing a strict ketogenic lifestyle, you are excreting a lot more fluid. You're going to the bathroom a lot more because carbs actually hold, fat cells actually hold on to more fluid. So when you're letting go of those fat cells, you're gonna go to the bathroom a lot more. And when you're going to the bathroom a lot more, you're excreting out a lot of minerals that you need. An electrolyte consists of like potassium, phosphate, magnesium, chloride. All of those things are consumed, are within an electrolyte. So is it important when starting a ketogenic lifestyle or drinking exogenous ketones to incorporate an electrolyte? I would say absolutely, hands down, yes. You should definitely do that. Whether you're getting it from pink Himalayan sea salt, which is an awesome electrolyte, or if you're buying an electrolyte from whoever, supporting whoever has electrolytes that are bomb, then buy an electrolyte. Or maybe just simple pickle juice. If you like drinking pickle juice, you can do that. It's a thing. A lot of athletes that maybe are getting cramps because they're sweating out so much and not replenishing, pickle juice is a huge thing. They'll drink it because it is full of salt, electrolytes to replenish the body that's getting rid of all of that water and whatnot. So with that being said, those are my top terms. There are a ton more, so I may do a part 2 in the top terms that you should know before starting a ketogenic lifestyle. But I would just say this to wrap it up is that if you are choosing to do a more ketogenic lifestyle, it is a lifestyle. It's just the choice that you make in the food that you're eating, the food that you're choosing to fuel your body with. And that's how you should look at food. You shouldn't look at it as an emotional thing, which I know we all do, and I still to this day do. Typically when we're sad, we eat a thing of ice cream or whatever. It's a very emotional thing that we have wrapped around the category. Food is with emotion. But if you stop for a second and truly think about food as a fuel source and better fueling your brain and your overall body, then I think you may see that this ketogenic lifestyle thing is super easy. There's gonna be temptation always, and it's okay to ask for help. And it's okay to ask for coaching and mentorship and all of those things. And that is truly what I am here to do, and educate people. And I love what I do every single day. With that being said, I'm gonna jump off of here, but just know, you guys, go out and inspire somebody to be better today, because it will fill your heart. Love you guys. Have a great day. Bye.